harmony is closer than we think. It's more related. Hey everybody, it's Katie Thoreau, and I've got another Katie's Minute tip for you. Today I'm going to show you one of my favorite exercises of all time. Any instrument can do it, but it's really great for bass players. I feel like this is one of those exercises that just targets everything. This is an exercise from Ray Brown, and my teacher showed it to me and Ray Brown showed it to them. So I'm gonna show it to you. The reason why I love this exercise so much is because it's just another fun thing to add to your technique. Maybe if you're tired of playing scales, I'm never tired of playing scales, but it's something fun to add, and there's endless possibilities of variations for this. And it can also help you to transpose music quickly. So I'm gonna show you the basic exercise and then we can just break it down. First of all, we're gonna hit all 12 keys, all 12 major keys. And we're gonna start in the key of E just because that's our lowest note, and we're gonna play the 1, 2, 3, and 5 of each key. And when we're done with that, we're gonna modulate up a fourth. If you're not used to modulating or thinking about moving up a fourth, just play fourths on the bass to start, right? So starting on E, E, A, D, G, C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B. That's all 12 notes. So I'll show you the 1, 2, 3, 5, then we'll modulate. And especially for bass players, stay in the octave that you're in once you start. I'll show you what I mean. I'm gonna take it nice and slow. E, So what I meant by saying stay within that octave, wherever you start, just keep going in that octave. But on bass, you can pretty much just stay right here, right? I could play F right there. That's staying within the octave. If I mixed the octave, it could have been, but that starts to get a little confusing. And did you notice that there's patterns? So for E to A to D, it's all the same. And G and C. And F, B flat, and E flat were the same, A flat and D flat and G flat and B were the same fingerings. The reason for me why I think it helps to transpose so quickly is because you have to think of the keys right away. But I actually just think about this more as a fun exercise. It's really great to get my hand in the position and in tune and practice all that good stuff. Okay, so there are tons of variations we can do. And really simply, if like this is too much for you to think of, just start with the roots and then roots in thirds moving in fourths, which would sound like this. Already starting to see that pattern again, right? It's all the same, root third. Now, if you still want to keep breaking it down with just those two notes, why don't you try the root and the third up an octave so that it becomes a 10th and you have this really cool spread. So root up an octave is going to be, or I can go up one more. So let's go through some of this. Root. So you have some different options of where to play this. And you could try it backwards too, that's also fun. So there's so much you can do just with two notes, it's really cool. And then that starts to seep into your bass line. So say you're in the key of C and you're playing a blues, and of course you have the third right here, but maybe you might want to put it up an octave and move around that way, like. It's really cool. It really helps spread out your bass lines. Okay, a few more variations. You can go up one way, 1, 2, 3, 5, and then go down 5, 3, 2, 1. And the cool thing about that is, stick with me here, is the 5 of your next modulation. So we're in E, we're going to A, for example. That 5 of A is E, which is the root of where we just came from, right? So even if you can't think that fast enough, you already know what it is. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 3, 2, 1. I guarantee you're gonna know the notes before you can say the numbers backwards. And then you go to D, and my 5 was just my root. So 5, 3, 2, 1 to finish off G, and now we're in C. 1, 2, 3, 5, and my root is the 5th of my next key, which is F, so C. And it just keeps going on and on like that. That's a really fun one. You can do the whole thing backwards, 5, 3, 2, 1 the whole entire way. And that's really cool because you land on the root, which then just becomes your next fifth, right? 5, 3, 2, 1, and now this is my fifth of A. And now we're in the key of D, so I'm gonna play fifth, which is the note I just played. And that's my fifth of my next, so on and so forth. And now, still in the same vein of modulating in fourths, you can ditch the 1, 2, 3, 5 and just use major triads and just do 1, 3, 5 and start modulating 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, and so on. Okay, and now with that, you could do the same thing. You can go down starting on 5, starting in the key of E, so I'm gonna start on B again. And that same thing happens. My root becomes the fifth of the next key that I'm modulating to. And I promise you, the more that you do all these variations, you're gonna nail your keys. It's gonna be so much easier for you to transpose because it just becomes second nature. Another variation you can do is mix the 1, 2, 3, 5 with a triad. So I'm gonna go up 1, 2, 3, 5 and then down a triad. So you can keep going and going with that. Here's another variation. You can go up either 1, 2, 3, 5 or a triad, modulate, and then go down starting on 3. So you'd go down 3, 1, 5, 3. And then you just start to hear all sorts of different harmony that maybe you haven't heard before. I'm gonna go up 1, 2, 3, 5 and then go down the triad starting on the third. So 1, 2, 3, 5, modulate up to A, but we're gonna use the third. So that was just the triad. Now I'm in the key of D, 1, 2, 3, 5. Now I need the third of the key of G, which is B. And the cool thing about this is you start to see even more patterns. So in D, I see that the third of my next chord is just up a whole step, right? And then my next modulation is just a half step away. I'm going to the key of C. And then I just go up another whole step, right? To play the third of F, which is A. So you start to recognize all of these patterns that you don't even realize, and then when you're walking bass lines, playing melodies, and improvising, things just start to crystallize. And it's like when you're driving a car and the mirror says, objects may appear closer in real life. I don't know if that's what it actually says. Something like that. These notes are closer than we think. The harmony is closer than we think. It's more related. Sometimes we can make it a little bit difficult and hard to grasp rather than just like using our ear and a little bit of logic. I feel like this is one of those exercises that just targets everything. And once you get more comfortable with it, take it into a different octave. You can start here, start 1, 2, 3, 5, and do the next one up an octave. Back down, up, down. Again, like I said, so many things to do. Let me know if you come up with anything else. I have probably 50 more ideas for this. It's one of my favorite things to do, and you could do it all minor. You can do straight up 2 5s if you want. You could start 2 minor, 7, 5, 1. Then you can modulate up a fourth. We were technically in the key of D because we started on 2. So a fourth up from D is G. So start on my A. 2, 5, 1. And then I'm modulating to the key of C. With that, you can do all the variations up, down, backwards, whatever. And this is a fun one. If you just want to try singing it, ooh, that'll help you out so much. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help.